Hey, you guys, what's going on, Palmerettis? It is Monday, April 6th. Hopefully, you just reviewed your last lesson, 13.5, and checked that homework. What we're going to do here today for math, all right, is we're going to do a lesson 13.6. It's called Solving Perimeter and Area Problems. I'm really glad because before you guys left, we touched base on this a little bit, and we're going to tackle it today. Colored pages 501, 503, homework page 173. This lesson might take a little longer because this is a lesson that I really wish you guys were in class for. If you have some lined paper, have it available. I've got mine ready to go because a lot of this we can't do on the work right on the colored pages because there's a lot to get through. So take a deep breath, relax. I hope you're doing well. Second video of the day. First one was about lesson 13.5 homework review. This is lesson 13.6, solving problem and area. And then we'll get to a science video afterwards. So make sure, a couple reminders, check your emails, check your messages in Edsby. Try to log in through your account on Edsby. That might help with some of the glitches with science and art, and I don't know PE right now. Again, catch my mistakes, catch my errors, forgive me where I'm falling short, and just help me out. All right? Miss you guys. But we're here for you. Please use us. Please use us. All right? All right. So let's talk about math. Okay, page 501. Again, let's area and perimeter. Okay. I can find the unknown length or width of a rectangle using a known area or perimeter. With length and width, you could also talk about base and height. Remember how we talked about area equals length times width or base times height? Yeah, we're going to go back to that. So area equals length times width, or you might say base times height. Okay? All right, and that was on that reference sheet we had. Perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. All right, we're going to talk about that too, and there's a couple ways we can attack perimeter. Again, this is a lesson that you might need me, so FaceTime me, call me. I'm going to kind of walk you through it. This might take a little longer, but this is one of our toughest lessons coming up, and I really wish we were together for this one. All right, so you guys ready? Here we go. Deep breath, and let's do this. A can of paint is used to cover all 168 square feet of a wall. The wall is 8 feet high. Tape is placed along the top, bottom, and sides of the wall. What is the width of the wall? How much tape is needed? So I want you to imagine a wall at your house. Look at the wall right now. I want you to imagine that you're going to get to paint your wall during this time that we're in our house and staying home kind of stuff. So you get to paint a wall, all right? And you're going to cover all 168 square feet of it. So when you take your tape measure out and you measure it, it's 8 feet high. Well, we don't know the width, right? That's what they're asking you. What is the width of the wall? So what they didn't say here, and I wish they'd have said, well, when they're saying it's 8 feet high, we could talk about that being the length or the base. And then if the width, that could be the width or the height or the base. They're all, we can work them back and forth. But look at your wall right now. So the height of it from the bottom of the floor to the ceiling, that's 8 feet. Now you want to look at it from left to right. That's what we don't know. So here's their wall. What we know is that the area, okay, is 168. This entire wall is 168 square feet. We know that this is an 8. The question is, how do we figure out this guy? There's a few different ways to attack this problem, okay? All right? Using these formulas, right? This is the one we're going to focus on since we're dealing with area. As soon as they said what is the width of the wall, how much tape is needed, all right, we want to work on that one. So describe the steps you use to solve the problem. So we're going to walk this through together. Okay, so if this was a math problem, there's a few different ways to look at it. Okay? We know area equals length times width or base times height. Base times height. So remember that formula. Now what I do is I call this plug it in math. Let's plug in what we know. We know area, 168. They said that the 8 was 8 feet high. We know the height is 8 times this is our unknown. So 168 equals what times 8? Now is 8 times anything when we say equals 168, is that a basic math fact? No way. So what are our options here? Think like a math doctor. We have some operations we can do. Okay, can we add? Nope. Are we going to subtract? No. Are we going to multiply? Yep. But can we divide? Absolutely. So there's two ways we can do this. You could do all your 8 times on your cheat sheet and create 8 times 12, 8 times 13, 8 times 14 until you figure it out. Or you can divide. This works hand in hand with multiplication. Remember, they work hand in hand. So can we do 1 divided by 8? No. Can we do 16 divided by 8? 8 times what equals 16? 2. Terrible 2. Subtract that, get a 0. Now what do we do? Bring down that 8. 8 divided by 8. 8 times what is a 1? And there's our answer, 21. So we come back up here, plug in that 21. So I want you to look at that again. You could go through your 8s. You literally could sit there and take your piece of paper, okay, and you could go 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 11 is 88. Okay, you could keep working that out, and you would eventually get to it. But from 10 to 11, is that going to take some time? Absolutely. So if we're in a time crunch, it's not the best way to do it. So walk through that one and review it. Pause it, rewind it, replay it, and look at that again. All right. This next page, okay, let's look at the work that he did up here. Now he's going to talk about area and perimeter. So let's talk about that for a minute. Painting your wall, that would be the area. But if you talked about the trim, if you talked about the edge, okay, trim, edge. If you talked about the bangs, bangs of your hair, right? Trim, edge, bangs. This would all deal with the word perimeter. All right, think about if you go outside with coach, and coach says, hey, go take 4 laps and then get to the court. Doing the laps, you would go on the track. That's the perimeter. All right, if coach said, hey, go play kickball or soccer, you would do that on the field. They'd say go to that area. Think about when you go to the playground with your family, or you're out at a park and your family says, hey, go play over in that area. They want you to play in the area. They don't say play around the perimeter. Now, think back. Do you remember the day that I talked to you about my stepbrother's German Shepherd and how the German Shepherd would run out of their house and he'd go around the fence and then back and then he'd go play? Well, he's a German Shepherd. Guard dogs, they have that innate in their DNA. He would go around the perimeter. Then he would go play in the area. Okay? If we were jogging around this area or we were walking our laps, we go around the perimeter. Then we get to play in this area. So that's one thing you always want to talk about with that and think about that one. All right. So the state park shown has a perimeter of 36 miles. What is the area of the state park? Now, this is where they're going to be using those formulas, and you've got to plug in your numbers and then see what they're asking you. And this is one of those tough lessons, guys. This is going to start off red. Hopefully you work to yellow, green, and blue, but we'll get through it. Use formulas or your equations that use symbols to relate 2 or more quantities to solve this problem. The formula for perimeter is perimeter equals 2 times length plus 2 times the width. The formula for area is area equals length times width, or as you saw us do earlier, base times height. Okay? So step 1, they want to find the length of the state park. So they're going to use perimeter. So the perimeter, they set it up here, is 36 miles. Okay? And the width is 7 miles to find the length. Use the perimeter, 36 miles, and the width, 7 miles, to find the length. So we're going to see how we can work these numbers out. Opposite sides. Okay, this is that kindergarten stuff now. Remember we said to think sometimes just simply? If a kindergartner came in and talked about a rectangle, remember we tackled that before spring break? Yeah. That rectangle has 2 sides that are equal and then another 2 sides that are equal. So the top and the bottom are parallel and equal, and then the sides of it are equal. Go get a shoebox, right? Amazon packages have been coming to your house. No doubt, I bet. Look at those rectangle shapes, okay? And just keep it simple right now. We'll get to squares in a moment, but we're going to focus on that. The opposite sides of a rectangle are the same length, so multiply the width by 2. So that one side was a 7. They said 7 times 2, you got 14. Now we knew the whole perimeter was 36, so now we subtract that and we get 22. Since there's 2 more sides to do, 22 divided by 2 is 11. I'm going to show you this in picture form, you guys. All right? You ready? Okay. So, check this out. I'm going to use some markers here. So they're saying, all right, here's the state park. Right? You with me? The whole entire perimeter of that park is 36, and they said miles. So it's a pretty good-sized park. So they said the whole thing is 36. Well, they said that the width was 7. All right, so that's a 7, right? You with me? Can you see it? Yeah, you can. All right. Now, what they said was, okay, they are telling us that perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. All right? So plug in your numbers here. Check this out. Check this out. All right? So we've got the perimeter is 36. It equals, what's the length? We don't know the length, right? So it's going to be 2 times the L. We don't know that yet. Plus 2 times the width. That we know. All right? You see it? All right. I'm going to go to just a one color now. So 36 equals 2 times L plus, what's 2 times 7? 14. Now, this is where it kind of gets to a little tricky, all right? So how do we figure out what this L is, all right? Well, we take 36, right, minus 14. You get 22. Now, think back to that shape that we just had, okay? It was a rectangle. Here's a 7. So if that side's a 7, what's this side? That side's a 7. So there's your 14. The whole perimeter going all the way around it is 36. So far we used 14. So we take that, now we got 22. How many sides are left? This side and this side. So you take 22, divide that by 2. That's a basic math fact. I didn't set it up with I didn't set it up this way. I could have. And we're going to get 11. So we put an 11 here, an 11 here, and that would be your length equals 11. Pause that and look over it. I know, guys, this is a bear of a lesson. Stay with me. We're going to walk through it together, okay? I know. All right. So let's go back to it. Width is 7. Length is 11. Now they asked us for the area. Area is simply length times the width, okay? So if I put an 11 here and a 7 here, all of those numbers right here, perimeter, I could add those all up. Another thing we could do with perimeter is just add up all the sides. But for area, they just want 2 numbers. Length times width. Length times width. 11 times 7 is 77. So now we've answered the area, and we've gotten that perimeter answer. All right? I know, guys. I know. This is a bear of a lesson, so stay with me right now. If you have to take a break, pause it, come back to it later, okay? All right. If the area of another state park is 216 square miles and the park has a width of 8 miles, what is the park's length? 2 questions, because then they ask you what is the perimeter of the state park. So the first thing we have to tackle is let's draw a rectangle here. I'm all about using rectangles for this, guys, and it will help you, I promise. So the area, we know that the area equals 216. This whole thing in here where you get to play is 216 square miles. We know that this is an 8. Do you see the problem? Do you see the math problem forming? So 216 equals what times 8? What did we just do over here when we set that up? We divided, absolutely. So 216 divided by 8. 2 divided by 8, can't do it. 21 divided by 8 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract that. We get a 5, bring down the 6. 56 divided by 8 is 7. Boom, we get a 27 here. All right. Now, if that side's an 8 and that side's an 8, that side's a 27, that side's a 27. So now we do perimeter. All right. So we've got length and width. perimeter equals 2 times length plus 2 times width. So we just tackled what the area missing side was. We tackled that answer right there. There's the length. You seeing it? All right, now watch this. Plug in your numbers. Perimeter equals 2 times 8 plus 2 times 27. What's 2 times 8? 16. Ooh, double 27. Who can double 27? You have to use that line paper. Do it. 27 times 2, 54. So now we add those. 54 plus 16, what do you get? You should get 70. The answer is actually 70 miles here. I don't want to leave that out, but there's your answer. So let's look at that one again. We figured out the length times the width here because we had the area and we had the width. We divided to get the length. Then we figured this side's an 8, that side's an 8, that side's a 27, that side's a 27. Some of you are going to ask me, Mr. Coletti, could we do 27 plus 27 plus 8 plus 8? Absolutely. Guess what you would get? 70. All right. You with me? I know, guys, this is a bear of a lesson. I know. Stay with me, guys. Take a break. If you have to, pause it and come back to it later. All right. Let's look at page 503. You might have to get your line paper ready because I've got mine ready right here, okay? So it says, a sandbox is shaped like a rectangle. The area is 16 square feet. The side lengths are whole numbers. We're not using fractions in this one. We'll see those later. What are the possible dimensions of the sandbox? Do all dimensions that make sense? So what we're doing here is we want to do area, and we want it to equal 16. So again, what does area equal? Length times width, or base times height. So what are all the possibilities that we could do that would lead on 16? You could say 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 4 times 4. Any of those would work here, okay? Because those are your factors of 16. Now, we're going to see how some of these would be better than others as far as if we were building things like a chicken coop or a chicken house or a garden. We wanted to put a fence around our garden. We're going to see which ones will work best. Number 2 says, write and solve an equation to find the width of a room if the length of the floor is 8 feet and the area of the room is 96 square feet. So we're going to write and solve an equation to find the width of a room if the length is 8. So again, area equals length times width. Plug in your numbers. 96 equals 8 times what? Now that's a basic math fact, right? But what can we do with those two numbers right here? Well, you're not going to multiply them. This is a big old mistake that we do. A lot of people just see this, multiply it, and put that number here. Well, that number would be over 700. It'd be like 800 something. I'm not even going to figure it out. But I know that 8 times 90 is 720, so that's not going to make sense. So you divide 96 divided by 8. Well, you guys come out with 12, and there's your answer, 12. You with me? All right. Complete each calculation. Find n, and then we'll know that the perimeter is 46. So perimeter, are we talking about the blue area, the blue space, I almost said blue area, so I gave it away. We're talking about around it. So here's what I do. I put an 8 over here. Okay, you see that? Watch this. Perimeter equals what? Perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So do 8 times 2. What do you get? 16. Now, since the whole thing going around is 46, you've already used up 16. What does that leave us? 30. How many sides remain? 2. So take 30 and cut it in half. What do you get? 15. And that's going to be your n. If they asked us to do area here, we would do 15 times 8. But this was all about perimeter. 8 here, 8 there. 8 times 2, 16. Subtract that from the 46 they gave us. All right. Think about it this way. If your parent said to you right now, listen, I need you to put tape all around the edge, the trim of the wall, the border, okay, that's another word we could use there, the border, okay, you would walk up, you would take that tape, and you would put a piece of tape here, 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 and here, and then you could paint all in there, all right, okay, so that's your perimeter, and then you would figure that out. Find, let me see, is it straight? Yeah, I keep moving my paper. Find N and A, the perimeter equals 26. So they want you to find the number that goes here, and then the A is for area. A is for area. So if there's a 9 here, what's over there? It's a 9, because what shape is this? It's a rectangle. Keep it simple in your brains for you guys. So to figure that out, we're going to go 2 times 9. What does that equal? 18. 26 minus 18 is 8. How many sides are still left? 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now we got our 4 here and we got a 4 here. To get the area, area equals what? Length times width. 4 times 9. 4 times 9, and your area is going to be 36 square feet. Again, pause it. Rewind me. Replay it. Now we're going to start to get into mixed numbers. Okay? Find the perimeter. Absolutely. Absolutely. What shape is that, though, guys? Ooh, now they're throwing a square at us. What do we know about a square? Think about those kindergartners that I said if they walked in, what would a kindergartner say? All 4 sides are equal. Okay? All 4 sides are equal. So if that's a 5.5, I could put a 5.5 here. I could put a 5.5 here. I could put a 5.5 here. Now, could you do 5.5 times 4? Yes. Could you do repeated addition here? Yes. Okay? Because the perimeter for a square, they'll say, is 4 times the sides. I'm okay with you guys doing it with repeated addition. So 5, 10, 15, 20. What's a half plus a half? 1 whole. What's a half plus a half? 1 whole. What do we get? 22 yards. You with me on that one? Now, if you did 5.5 times, if you did 5.5 times 4, go back to this. 5 times 4, 20. 1.5 times 4, 4 halves. What do 4 halves equal? Because that's division. We still get 22. You see it? All right. Now, down here, find the missing dimension. Okay. Whew, breathe easy with me, guys. This lesson is going to go a little longer than normal, and I apologize for that. But this perimeter stuff, I want you to really be able to get it, okay? All right? I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. This is one of those lessons I'm not a fan of not being with you to teach because we would tackle this. So breathe easy. Focus. Get up, walk around, pause it, come back to it later. All right, you guys back? Aha. Find N. The area equals 60. So area equals length times width or base times height. Plug in your numbers. We already know the A. We know that we've got a 6 times what? Now this one, boom, you guys are like, I got this, right? Do we multiply these two? No, that would be 360 times 6, and that would not make sense. So I know some of you are thinking that. Divide these two, or just tell me, what's 6 times what equals 60? And hopefully you got 10. And it would be 10 feet. We'll work on that, remembering that. Find the N if you know that the perimeter is 65, okay? Find the N if you know the perimeter is 65. Now, again, they're running fractions at us. Let's put another 11 2/4 over here. Okay? That's a terrible 4. All right. So as we look at this one right here, okay? All right. 11 2/4 and 11 2/4. I'm going to go to my line paper. 11 2/4 plus 11 2/4. What do you get? 22 4/4. What do you guys know about 4/4? It's a fraction. It's not a fraction greater than 1. It's going to equal 1 whole. So 22 plus the 1 equals 23. So come back. Got it? Pause it. So take their 65 minus the 23. What does that leave us? Leaves us 32. How many sides are left to do? two sides because we've tackled these two sides. Now we got to get those two sides. So 32, cut that in half. What's 32 cut in half? Well, 32 divided by 2. All right, there's a little bit of a long division. This is not a hard one. You could do your multiplication facts, 2 times 11, 2 times 12, etc. All right. Oh, and you're going to get 16. So you're going to get 16, so that's going to be this side 16, and this side is 16. And that was just to find perimeter. Notice the difference in these two problems. Area, perimeter. Sometimes they'll mix them together, and you got to figure out both of them. That's where we're going to go. All right, find n if the perimeter is 84. Well, here's a 22. I like to do this. 22 there. 22 and 22 is 44. Take 84 minus what you've already done, the 44, and you're going to get 40. How many sides are left? 2 sides. So take the 40, cut that in half. What do you get? 20. Boom, boom. If I wanted you to do area there, we would multiply length times width, but this was all about perimeter. All right, you with me, guys? I appreciate it. I know this is a long one, and this one I knew was going to be tough, so I'm glad it's a Monday. Glad you had the weekend, so welcome back. A rectangle has a length of 9 millimeters, so there's the length. It has an area of 270. So all of this yellow painted, that beautiful yellow wall that you painted, right? All right, Carter, your yellow wall looks good. Okay. All right, Nevaeh, your wall looks good. Is 270. What is the width? This is what we don't know. Then they want us to find the perimeter. So we have to do 2 things here, okay? All right. So I'm going to use my line paper, and I'm just going to redo it here because I like to have some room. So there's a 9. This whole thing is 270. We don't know this. That's your width. We don't know. So let's set it up. Area equals length times width, right? Oh, yeah. 270 equals 9 times what? Now this one we can divide. Some of you already know it because you're doing your basic math fact right here. 27 and 9, what would it equal? Well, 3. Oh, it's going to be 30. See that? All right. So now that part is done. We've got the width is 30. So I come back and plug it in here because 30 times 9 equals 270. 3 times 9, 27, plug in the 0. But for perimeter now, perimeter we want to go, okay, if that's a 30, what's this side? That's a 30. If that side's a 9, what's this side? A 9. Now if we look at that, right, 30 on this side, 30 on this side, 9 here, and a 9 here, right? Could we just add them all up? Yep. Could we do 2 times 9, 2 times 30, and then put them together? Yep. So perimeter is going to be 2 times 9 plus 2 times 30. Forgive me. That's terrible. So we get 18 plus 60. And we get 78. Final answer for perimeter. So the width is 30. The perimeter is 78. All right? So the perimeter equals 78. 30 plus 30 is 60. 9 plus 9 is 18. We still get 78. You with me? I know, guys. I know. It's a long video. Forgive me. Let's flip it and tackle some word problems, okay? Get your line paper ready to go. I've got mine, and I'm ready to rock and roll with you. All right? Let's tackle these. Greg built the picture frame shown to the right, okay? It has a perimeter of 50 2/4 inches. How wide is the picture frame? Okay. So the perimeter going all the way around this whole thing is 50 2/4. Okay? All right, so the whole thing equals that. So I've got to play around with this for a little bit, and here's how I do it. If this side is 15 1/4, what's this side? 15 1/4, because think like that kindergartner. A rectangle. These two sides are equal. These two sides are equal. 15 1/4 plus 15 1/4. What do you get? You get 30 2/4, right? Remember, the whole perimeter going all the way around this, if Coach said to run around this, it's 50 2/4. Well, this side and this side, from here to here is 15 1/4, from here to here is 15 1/4. You've just ran 30 2/4. So now we take 50 2/4 minus 30 and 2/4, and you get 20. You with me? How many sides are left to cover? 2 sides. So take that 20, cut it in half. What do you get? 10. This is a 10. This is a 10. See that? All right. So now I want to show you something here for this next one. Put 3 stars by number 11. Okay? All right. So review 10 with me. The whole perimeter they told us was 50 and 2/4. If this side's a 15 and 1/4, that side's 15 and 1/4. Put them together, we get 30 and 2/4. Subtract that from the 50 and 2/4, we get 20. Divide that by the 2 sides that are left over. Now, Greg is going to cover that book. I want you on your lined piece of paper to set it up just like this, just like we did. This is for number 11. Okay? This is number 11. Set it up just like this. Okay? And I'm going to read it to you, and we're going to walk through it. Okay? Let's see if I can put them both here on the page. It's not too bad. Greg covered the back of the picture with a piece of felt. So you're flipping it over, and you're going to put a piece of felt on the back. But here's the key. The picture is 1 1/4 inches shorter than the frame and 1 less inches than the width. So check this out. They then want us to know what is the area. Watch this. You ready? If we're going to make it shorter, girls, boys, if you go to get your hair cut and you get it cut shorter, what kind of math is that? If you're going to mow your yard because it's too long and you want your grass to be shorter, what kind of math is that? We have subtraction. So we're going to take away 1 1/4 from this guy. What do we get? 15 and 1/4 minus 1 1/4. We get 14. That's one number we're going to use. Take the 10 minus 1. What do you get? You get 9. So now, looking at this number right now, all right, on the back of his picture frame, he's going to cover 14 here, right? Length, width, and we want to do area. What's our math problem now? Area equals what? Length times width. 14 times 9. 4 times 9 is 36. 9 times 1 is 9 plus 3 is 12. We get 126. So we come back over here and we put 126 inches. Let's look at that again. All right, let's look at that again. Okay, you with me here? All right. So when we had that picture frame, it was 15 and 1/4, 15 and 1/4, 10 and 10. We took away 1 1/4 on this side, took 1 on this side. So now we're left with 14 and 9. And for our area, now we do 14 times 9, and that's how we got that 126th. Again, if this is a crazy lesson on that Monday, contact me and say, hey, I'm going to turn it in Wednesday or Thursday. It's okay. We're walking through it, and I know this is a tough lesson. All right. Whew. Al has a goal to read 2,000 pages over summer break. He has read 1,248 pages. How many more? Oh, guys, right? 2,000 minus 1,248, right? Simple regrouping. 2 becomes a 1, 10 to a 9, 10 to a 9, and then a 10. 2, 9 minus 4, 5, 9 minus 2, 7, and there's your final answer, 752 pages. I made sure I pulled down all of my numbers there, class. The area of a tabletop is 18 square feet. The perimeter of the same table is 18 feet. What are the dimensions of the tabletop? I think they wanted to sit there and say, instead of square, they wanted to put rectangle. Because when I think of a square, it's all this, the sides are all the same. So I think they were supposed to put rectangle, and I'm going to email the lady that we've talked to this year about mistakes in this, and we'll talk to her. So I'm thinking this might be a rectangle. Now, some of you are saying, Mr. Coletti, they're both part of the family. A square is a rectangle. Absolutely, and I think that's what you'll say in response to me. So to get 18, there's a few different ways we could do it, okay? But let's see, the area of a tabletop is 18 square feet. The perimeter of the same table is 18 feet. What are the dimensions of the tabletop? All right, I'm going to do this one here, okay, and I'm going to show you this one right here. So the whole thing going around, the whole area is 18. So ways to get that, we could say 1 times 18. We could say 2 times 9. We could say 3 times 6. Okay? Now for this one, what we would do is we would plug all these numbers in and around it. And we want to know that the perimeter equals 18. So this is where it gets tricky. So now she wants to say that the perimeter is 18. Okay? Well, if I put an 18 here and an 18 here and a 1 and a 1 here, it's going to be over 18. So that guy's not going to work. If I put a 9 here and a 9 here, that's 18. But a 2 here and a 2 here, that would be 9 and 9, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's not going to work. The best answer is to use the 3 and the 6. 3 and the 6. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay? If I put the 3 and the 3 here and the 6 and the 6 here, for a perimeter, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. That's going to equal the 18. Okay? That's going to equal this 18. 6 plus 6 is 12. 3 plus 3 is 6. You put that together, it's going to equal 18. That's why 3 times 6 is your best answer there. Okay? Look over that one. Let's come back over here and write that one over here. 3 times 6. Put 3 stars there. Okay? All right. Now, number 14. Again, I'm going to do on line paper. All right? And I know this is taking a little while, so stay with me. Number 14. Let me get my notes in front of me. Okay, this is between Amy and Zach. So, Zach, you're up again. Amy, don't have an Amy in class, so I'm going to pick somebody else in class to do that one here. All right, Lauren, you ready? All right, so we got Amy and Zach. So, Amy and Zach, they each have 24 feet of fencing. So, as soon as we talk about fencing, we're talking about perimeter. Let's go back to this. I forgot to put that on here. So, some notes again for perimeter. If we talk about fencing, border, trim edge, or your bangs, okay, we're talking perimeter. Amy makes hers 6 feet long. Zach makes his fence 8 feet long. Whose garden has the greater area? And then how much greater? So I'm going to do this one right here on this paper and see if we can squeeze it in. So here's Amy. She's going to make her garden, right? She says, all right, I've got 24 feet of fencing. She has 24 feet. She's got a perimeter of 24. So going all the way around, that fence is going to go 24. She says, all right, I'm going to put a 6 here. If she puts a 6 here, what's going to go on that side? A 6. Now, what's 6 times 2? That's 12. So she had 24. She takes away the 12. What does that leave her? Leaves her 12. So 12 divided by the 2 sides left over equals 6. So she's going to put a 6 here and a 6 there. So her perimeter is 6 all the way around. What is that? It's not a rectangle. It's a square. Okay? Now for her area, 6 times 6, she's going to get 36. That is her area. All right? Because they said, all right, whose area is greater? Who has the greater area? Now, Zach, you come along. Right? You've got the same amount of fencing, 24 feet of fencing. But you're going to make yours 8 feet long. Okay? Well, what's this side then? That's an 8. So 8 times 2, 16. We do 24 minus a 16. Get 8. 8 divided by 2. We get a 4. So put a 4 here and a 4 here. Now, your area is 8 times 4. That's going to be 32. So Amy's area, 36. Zach, your area, 32. Whose is greater? Amy's. But by how much? Well, 36 minus 32, and hers has 4 more feet than yours. All right? 4 more square feet. It's a bear, guys. Okay? This next one here, 15. 15 is a pretty cool problem. It's talking about using an area of 80 square inches. And they're going to say that it has to be 5 times greater. Guys, as soon as you see this, that they want it to equal that, so area equals length times width. They want something that's going to equal 80. Well, think of all the ways that we can get to 80, right? 1 times 80. 2 times 40, right? Is that it? Nope, there's more. There's more. 4 times 20. Here's the one that we sometimes forget. 5 times 16, and then 8 times 10. Now, as you look at all those choices, which one is going to be 5 times greater than the other? Well, that's 80 times greater. Not going to work. That's 20 times greater. That's not going to work. Right there. These two are not going to work. The best answer here is 4 times 20. All right? Okay. The rectangle has an area of 144 square centimeters. What's the perimeter? Notice how they combined them. So let's figure out this side right here. So 144 equals 8 times what? Divide that. Can't do that, but 14 goes in once. 64. Put an 8 there. We get 64. Right? And that's going to be an 18. Now, that doesn't give us, we put an 18 there and an 8 there. We want to do the perimeter now. So we're going to say 2 times 8 plus 2 times 18. 16 plus 36. We're going to get 52. Okay? Pause it. Take a break. This was a bear of a lesson. I'm not kidding. I know. All right. Use the formulas for perimeter and area. Come back up here. Here's your formula for perimeter. Here's your formula for area. Okay? Got it? Put your name on it so I know it's yours. This is lesson 13.6, page 173. Find the n. So area equals 28. So 28 equals 2 times what? That's going to be your answer. Find the area. Then, if we know, find n, then find the area. The perimeter is 86. Let's talk this one through. Okay? If he's a 25, that's a 25, right? Because it's a rectangle. These two sides match those two sides. You with me? Okay? So we've got 25 and 25. What does that equal? 50. So 86 minus 50, 36. But how many sides are left to fill in? 2. So we take that answer, divide it by 2. You're going to get 18. All right, this is a big old answer. We're going to do this one together. The area here is going to equal 450, okay? Because you would do 18 times 25, okay? 18 times 25. When you do 18 times 25, you're going to get 450. So the area is 18 times 25, okay? All right, find the perimeter. And I want you to do number 1. Fill that in one for me when I look at your work. Find the perimeter. Area equals 33. Okay. All right. So what I do here, let me show you another way. If that's a 3, that's a 3. Right? So area is 33. So 33, length times width, 3 times what? 11. So we put an 11 here and 11 here. Now we find the perimeter. 11 plus 11 plus 3 plus 3, or 11 times 2, 3 times 2. What do we get? Yep, 28 feet. All right. For area, it's always square feet. For perimeter, it would just be feet. We'll talk about that more. All right. Number 4, find n if the perimeter is 60 2/4. What's this side? 12 1/4. So that means this side's 12 1/4. Yeah. What do we do with these two? We can multiply them or we can just add them. 12 1/4 plus 12 1/4. We get 24 2/4. So we took in 24 2/4 out of that 60 2/4. Do some regrouping here and we're going to get 26. Now what do we do with that 26? How many sides are left? 26 cut in half. 13. So 13 here, 13 here, and there we go. Finding n, 13. Did I just get the wrong number? Let me double check. I might have done something wrong here. I'm going to check this one right now. Find n, the perimeter. I have a feeling something just went wrong. Let me double check. 12 1/4, 12 1/4, that's 24 2/4. 60. Let's double check myself here. 5, 10, that's a 6. Yep, I made a mistake. That should be a 3. Thank you. That should be 36 cut in half, and that's going to make it 18. That's going to make it 18. Caught my mistake. Good job. So it should be 60 minus 24 is 36. All right? All right. Flip it over. On Friday, 39,212 fans attended the baseball game at a Major League Baseball park. On Saturday, 41,600 fans attended. And on Sunday, 42,900 fans attended. How many more fans attended on Saturday and Sunday? What are you going to do with Saturday and Sunday? Take Saturday and Sunday, add them, then subtract them from Friday. So do number 5. What is the area of a square with a perimeter of 28? Now, what do you know about a square, guys? All 4 sides are equal. So if the perimeter is 28, take 28, divide that by 4, and what do you get? 7s. Lucky 7s. So now they want to know what is the area. Area equals length times width. So you do area equals 7 times 7, and you're going to get 49 as your final answer. Okay? One side of the flower garden is 3 times as long as the other. What are the dimensions of the flower garden? Okay, so this goes back to that problem where we had 80. This is figuring out all the different ways that we could get 48. And then we want to figure out which one are they asking us about here. So we can say 1 times 48, 3 times 16, 4 times 12, 6 times 8. All of those are the facts that you could do to get to 48. But which one shows us 3 times greater? Is that one 3 times greater? No. Is 16 3 times greater than 9? No. Is 8 3 times greater than 6? No. This is your best answer right there, 4 times 12. Now, number 8 says the sides of each square are an inch. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. There's a 5. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. There's a 5. What is the perimeter and the area? Well, the perimeter goes all the way around. Perimeter, you could do 5 times 4, or 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, or you're going to get 20. The area is 5 times 5, which is 25. So you got perimeter and area there of that shape. How many seconds are in 3 minutes? If there's 60 seconds in a minute, complete it. So 1 minute equals 60 seconds. So times these by 60. Do 2 and 3. Then an art class is painting a rectangular mural with an area of 60 square feet. This has to be at least 4 feet high, but no more than 6 feet high. Again, this goes back to this problem right here than the one with 80 on our color pages. Get all the ways that you can get to 60. What are your factors? Factors, right? That color page with 80 was factors. 1 times 60, 2 times 30, 4 times 15, 5 times 12, 6 times 10, right? It has to be at least 4 feet high, but no more than 6 feet high. Is that going to work? No. Is he going to work? That's a 30. No. All right, 4 feet high, but it can't be any more than 6 feet, so that's not going to work. Okay? All right? So look at the next 2. All right? I'd say either one of these guys would work. Okay? All right. And now let's, circle number 9. So far you have to do 5 and 9, and then show all your work on these ones and review them. And here's right here. We're going to start this one together, and you finish it. The rectangle has a perimeter of 86 yards. They want to know what is the... I love these problems because they're mixing your perimeter and your area. So we come back over here. We know that the whole perimeter is 86. Going all the way around it is 86. What's that? 15. So what's this side? 15. Why is that? Because it's a rectangle. What do you do with these two sides? 15 times 2, or 15 plus 15 is 30. Subtract that from the 86. What do you get? 56. What do you do with that? Notice the steps are the same. It's just the numbers that are different. Cut it in half because we got to do it by 2 sides, and you get 28. All right. Now, this is for the area is 28 times 15. Okay. It's 420. I'm going to give you this one. That's checked off. This lesson right here, finish number 1 for me. Look over these. Do number 5 and do number 9. Review this lesson for math. Take a deep breath. I know that was a long time. Don't worry about that. Get what you can turned in. Love you guys. Talk soon.